Welcome back to Case Break Analysis. I'm JT with another case break simulation and analysis of a product. Today is 2022-23 Panini Revolution Premier League Soccer. This is apparently, I don't know a lot about soccer and I haven't been collecting soccer cards, but this is the first licensed soccer product in the US in a few years. So other than maybe the Topps exclusive stuff that you can get on the website, this is Panini, of course, so this is a licensed product, Revolution. You might recognize this product from other sports, and let's get into it. So, from Beckett, basically, this product is 20 Premier League teams represented throughout this checklist. There's vets and rookies, and there's also a couple names of players who don't play anymore, so legends, and they are in the auto set. You get 5 cards per pack, 8 packs per box, and 16 boxes per case. Panini does that thing with the inner case. I think Upper Deck does that too. So you get 16 total boxes in a case. You'll probably see a lot of breaks with an 8-box break, but 16 is the total case. You get 1 numbered parallel per box, 8 other parallels. So there's a lot of non-numbered parallels in this set. There's a ton, actually. You'll get 4 base rookies and 3 base inserts. Those are not numbered as well. And then you'll get 24. I don't know why the parentheses didn't work, but you get 24 base cards per box. So what does that break out to per case? Well, you're going to get roughly 384 base cards in an entire case, but you'll only get 16 numbered parallels. The case hit here is a galactic parallel, which I couldn't find a picture of. You're also only going to get an autograph every other box. So in a 16-box case, you should only see 8 autographs. And so that's an interesting thing that you're not guaranteed an autograph in every hobby box. I kind of think that sucks, but that's Panini for you. That's kind of what they do. So here's the aesthetics of the card. There's tons of parallels. A lot of them are not numbered. Now, I did some calculations, and I think I tried to figure out what each of these might be, what the Galactic in particular might be, because the Galactic, because it's a case hit, it's a super short print, so I'm going to talk about that. But here's what I assume to be the base card, and then there's a bunch of parallels here: Infinite, Fractal, Diamond, Galactic. And then the Sunburst, Cosmic, and Lava, those are numbered. And so the Galactic parallel, maybe this is it. I have no idea. They say it's one of the rarest cards, but based on how the print runs work, I don't think it actually is the rarest cards. It's just hard. It's just a hard get because it's 1 per case. Autographs are every other box, like I said, and they are numbered. Most of them are numbered. I think there's a base set that's not numbered, and then these parallels are numbered. There are 1-of-1s in this set, but a lot of the autos are sticker, which after seeing the comments on my Upper Deck The Cup video, stickers are just as polarizing as I assume they'd be. I don't like them. I think they're stupid. I get why they have them, but in a higher end product, you shouldn't have stickers. Here's an insert Shockwave. That's pretty cool. And your case hit is, oh yeah, there's this star factor. So did I say the Galactics were 1 per case? Yeah, the Galactic parallel. But there's also there's a 1 per case. There's 2 case hits, I guess. This star factor insert. This is a die cut. You probably can't tell from the picture here, but that's a die cut card. And checklist strength. So if you haven't watched my videos yet, I'll explain how this works. I think in future videos, I'll slowly but surely not explain this as frequently. But I scrape the internet for player popularity, which means how often are collectors and investors searching for memorabilia and cards of each player. So I don't include the team in that web scrape because players change teams. You might have somebody who plays at a bunch of teams, and I want to know what is the popularity of these players, regardless of who's looking for them. And that also kind of normalizes some of this data by region. You might, if you think about this in terms of the United States, a player in New York might even Aaron Judge might have more searches because they're from New York and there's more people in New York. But you want to normalize some of that so that this is representative of the whole country. So actually do that. In this case, I use the entire world because this is soccer. So it's not just the United States. If you watch hockey, my hockey videos, I try to include U.S. and Canada, where here I'm just including the whole world. So 5 means, if this scale that I use, and you'll see it below, a 5 basically means that if you pull a player in that I've given a 5, that means that the popularity that I've obtained through these web scrapes indicate that there's a high probability that you'll make a good profit on those cards. A 4 means that you probably will make a profit, not guaranteed, but probably. These players are popular. They're above average in popularity. Their products are being searched for, but I don't know. Maybe it depends on how much you pay for the team. If you pay $100 and the player's worth $100, I mean, that's still a good return, but you're breaking even. But if you only paid $50 for the team and it's worth $100, now you're doubling your money. So a 3 basically means it's kind of like a break even. And what I mean by that is if you were to buy the case yourself, these players would be about worth the average. So if you think about how Beckett prices jersey cards, it's typically $8 for a jersey card in Beckett. I'm not saying that's what you'll get, but that would be kind of what a 3 is. It's that average player that doesn't really mean a lot to a lot of people, but it means something to some people. So you'll sell it, but you won't sell it for a profit. Then 2, you'll probably sell this card. There are searches for these players. They're very niche. They're probably local heroes or people that are team collectors, but you might have to sell that card at a loss. So something like a jersey card, your standard like Allen and Ginter jersey card, you'd probably sell that for $4 instead of 8. So that's what I mean by that. And then 1, these players, they're not being searched for. I didn't find any records of them really having any popularity, which means you'll probably wind up holding on to that card. It'll just sit in your collection, or it's one of those things you might have to give away to charity. Or if you're at a card show and some kid walks by, just hand it to him because you're probably not going to sell it. And so this checklist strength, it's not terrible. Out of the 4,500 unique cards, there are about 300 unique players in this set. 4,500 unique cards, so parallels, inserts, base cards, things like that. Between 1,700 and 1,800 of them fall between a 4 and a 5. So that's actually really good. That means that about a third of this product is strong. There's a lot of players. Now that includes non-autographs. It includes the parallels and everything. So we'll talk about autograph strength here, which is probably the most important part of any of these products. But this is all of them. So it's not bad. It's about a third of this product has really good hits. So I'm not going to bore you or lie to you about soccer. I don't know anything about soccer or the players. I did see David Beckham's name in this product in the Legends category. So that's about the extent of my soccer knowledge. But I can still, like I said, I can still analyze and show you this product. So it's Steel City, which is in Pittsburgh. They're selling these cases for about $2,300. So if you go based strictly on the number of cards in each category, that's kind of how you should determine what you would pay for these teams. So obviously the strength of the checklist is really what you should be focused on, and I'll talk about that next. But what I see most often in breaks is people determine what teams they want to buy based on how many cards there are of each team if you're buying into a team break. And in most cases, what you're looking at is a checklist that shows you how many unique cards in each category each team has. So if you saw that checklist, you'd see that Chelsea has 36 autographs. They don't actually have 36 autographs. They actually have 2,839 autographs because you're not accounting for the print runs of all of these teams. And when we sort, you can see that sometimes, even though a team, like these teams have 16, they're not the same. So these have 181 and this one has 182. Now this, not sure why it's, that's the price actually. These have 16, so these have 1284, 1234, and 1232. So you can see that they're not always the same just because the print runs. And this one, look, 1194, that's way less. So don't go off of what the unique number of cards are. Go off the print runs, which is honestly, I think, as far as I know, I'm the only one who's giving you this information. So I basically explode the print runs out to what they actually are. And now you can tell how many cards are in each team, not just how many unique cards. And based on that, if you were to split that $2,300 case price across all these teams, distributed those dollars by how many cards each team has, so obviously there's a disproportionate amount of Chelsea cards in this set, well, then you should probably pay more for Chelsea. Now, that doesn't include cases where there's like a really high value player, highly sought after player. This just includes the distribution. So in that case, here's the total number of autographs, the teams that have the most, and here's what, if you distributed those dollars across that metric, there's what you should pay in this column here. Now I'll go show you who has the least number of autographs. There's a lot of dual team things here, so let's skip past those and go find teams with the least amount of autographs. Southampton, they have 4 unique, 321 total autograph cards. So if you're in a break and Southampton's available, I wouldn't pay very much for it, because especially if you're the autograph seeker. Now, that doesn't mean that you that's what you want. Maybe you are searching for the inserts or the parallels. Let's look at the parallels. If you're chasing some of those parallels, especially the numbered parallels, which are only 1 per box, you might want to look at Liverpool, because Liverpool has 152 unique parallels, which equates to 14,589. So you have a way better chance of getting what you want out of this if you're a parallel collector by buying Liverpool than going with whoever has the most autographs, which again was Chelsea. But if you're not really chasing those autos, which again are one every other box, if you're more looking for those parallels, go with Liverpool or Manchester. And here's the distribution of what those prices would be. So they have 152 unique, and it's right around the same price here. But pay about $130, distribute it across, because you want the parallels. Now, who has the least amount of parallels? Again, got to kind of skip a couple here because of these double teams. Let's see. Looks like Aston Villa has the least amount. So be careful if you're a parallel collector looking at that. And now we'll look at, I think that was that's just non-numbered. I forgot I broke that up. That's just non-numbered. So let's look at the numbered parallels. If you're chasing the numbered parallels, here we go. Liverpool, West Ham, Manchester. Those are in order how many there are. 85 unique, 1,785 total. Pay about $130 and you should be paying a fair price just for parallel collectors. Now, obviously, if you're like, I want parallels and autographs, take a price somewhere in between. They're $130 for Liverpool for if you're just collecting the numbered parallels, but if you're collecting autos, I have them about $175. So maybe you should feel comfortable probably paying somewhere between $130 and $175. Now, again, you're buying into these breaks. I'm not telling you what teams to buy. I'm just giving you advice. I'm not responsible if you lose money or whatever. I'm just giving you analysis that I don't think anyone else has really given so far. And so if you're chasing the rookie cards, let's look at the total number of rookie cards broken down by team. Liverpool, Leeds, Everton, they have the most. And I mean, if that's what you're looking for, and a lot of times you can make a lot of profit on rookies, maybe about $200 is what you should be paying. And the least amount of rookies in this set is, gotta skip a couple. Looks like, I'm not even going to try because I know all of you European fans are going to just fry me for Leicester. I have no idea how to pronounce that city, but they have the least amount of rookies. So if you're chasing rookies, keep that in mind. Southampton, Tottenham, don't go crazy spending money on those teams. Now we're going to talk about this strength of the checklist. This is my bread and butter, really, analysis. So by scraping all of these websites, I can figure out what the interest level is, popularity of players. And I've got this whole product around a 3.5. I'd actually say, based on some of the numbers here, that we could probably go between a 3.5 and like a 3.8. But I want to try to give all these a score, so at the end of the year, I can look at what products were the strongest and do like a review video. So I'm going to stick with the 3.5 there on this product, just based on the numbers, and the average player value is around 3.5 if we summed them all and you know, divided them. So the autograph checklist in this product, the play what this number represents is the sum of all of the ratings for the players in the checklist. So the number of fives, so all the fives added together plus all the fours plus the threes, twos, and ones. And what that winds up doing is giving us this strength checklist. Obviously, if you have more cards, you might have a higher score, but if you have more fives, you can easily move up the ranks. And you'll see big separations between some of these teams where they have less fives, fours, and fives. So the strongest team in this product is Chelsea. Chelsea comes in with this strength score of about 148. And if you were to spread the price of the case across the distribution of strength, I mean, Chelsea should. This is because you can probably get a bigger ROI from that team. It's reasonable to assume you can pay more for that team. So this would be, in terms of what I understand baseball, if you have a team like the Mariners who have a pretty weak checklist, but they have Julio Rodriguez, it might bump that team up to a higher spot, whereas without him, it would be weaker. Or maybe they have legends like Ichiro. And so what this tells you is, yes, this team has, you know, whatever amount of autographs I showed you earlier, but the strength of that checklist is very high. And this is just for autographs. Now, if we go based on the parallels, which I think people are interested in, the Liverpool has the strongest checklist of parallels. That's a little different because I think every card in this set's going to have a parallel. But if you're chasing the insert cards, Manchester has the strongest checklist because not every player has an insert. And so we go off the autos there. And now I'll show you the weakest team by autograph. And the weakest team is actually, a lot of these are those doubles who don't have autographs. So the weakest team here is Nottingham. So if you're getting into a team break and Nottingham's available, don't go crazy. Keep in mind that maybe they have a decent amount of autographs, which I believe they were in kind of the bottom half of the autograph number checklist. There's the strength of their cards. People aren't searching for them. People aren't really, the popularity is pretty low. So that's what this means. That should give you an idea of how strong this product is and which teams are the strongest if you get into a team break. So, go for it. Get in these breaks. Chelsea, Manchester United, Manchester City. These are teams that are a little higher than the rest as far as value. Okay, so how does that look? Well, if we do a weekly average, so how many searches over the last year by week, we're looking at kind of a normal distribution here, where players fall, and this is what this means is there's a high and a low for 1 through 5, and the players can change categories based on how we aggregate this data. And so if we aggregate it weekly, more players fall into the 3 category. If we aggregate it monthly, more players, it's kind of distributed a little differently. More players fall into the 2 and 3 category, but there also are more 4s and 5s. So the monthly is what we use for when I do all the values up here, I use the monthly aggregate. So this actually shows a stronger checklist monthly. But if you you just aggregate over the entire year, more players fall into the 2 category. And that's because of off seasons and stuff like that. But if you take these monthly averages, it kind of accounts for people being in the news. There's a lot of tabloid coverage, especially I was doing a hockey one, and Connor McDavid, I guess, had broken up with his girlfriend or cheated or something. And so there was all these spikes for Connor McDavid. I was like, what is going on here? And I assumed it was a hockey related thing. It wasn't at all. So if you take some of these, this yearly thing, it kind of removes that and just has this off season. And so it makes all the players fall into lower categories. The weekly one, it shows things like when there's tabloid coverage of a player. This monthly one, it seems to kind of even out a lot of that stuff. So that's what we use here. So that's the distribution. Monthly, we got more 4s and 5s. It's actually pretty decent if you go and watch the other videos. And then the popularity over the last year, obviously, there's a lot that fall lower. So that's what we're looking at there. This checklist isn't so bad. So now I simulate all the cases, do a simulated case break so that I say all this stuff, Make your decisions based on who has the most cards. Now let's put it into action and see if we actually get the cards of the players that or the teams that I mentioned before. But before we do that, let's just talk about the checklist one last time. If you are looking well, this isn't team-based. This is just the checklist summary. And what this table shows you is what are the rarest cards in this set. So if we sort by the number of cards that exist for each set, and it's also grouped by print run. So some of these, like Autograph Lava, those should be out of 3, but maybe there are ones that are out of 5. And so this separates those and says, if you get an Autograph Lava card out of 3, you actually have the lowest print run card in the entire set. So that what's interesting about that is people think that the 1 of 1s are the lowest print run cards in the set. And yeah, they might be for one individual player, but the legendary Autograph Ice 1 of 1s, there's 10 of those for 10 different players. Whereas the Autograph Lava print run to 3, there's 3, which means there's only one player that has that card. It's the rarest card in the set. So this helps you figure out if you're in these breaks or you're buying hobby boxes and opening them, if you get cards on this list, you're getting the rarest cards in the set. Cards that have less than 100. That's pretty rare. Now, if we look at the print runs by teams, again, this is for the entire set, not the simulation. I just like to show the 1 of 1s, total 1 of 1s, because that's what people are chasing. Even though, again, they're not the rarest. The 3 is the rarest in the set. But the 1 of 1s, there's 9 for Chelsea, 6 for Manchester United, and etc. So we see that, and here's the lowest, Southampton. Everyone else does not have them. So what you should do here is just, if you're interested in getting low print run cards, take a screenshot and buy the teams or get into breaks with the teams that I'm showing here, and try to avoid the teams that aren't on this list. And throughout this, that's really the goal here, is for you to look at these tables, these spreadsheets, and take screenshots along the way, so that helps you make better, more informed decisions. What's going on here? I can't seem to scroll. There we go. Now, number of cards within each print run. Again, I think there's 2 more tables that are not about the simulation. This is one of them. This just shows you that in this set, there are 50 cards that are 1 of 1s. I know somebody on Facebook the other day was like, how is that possible? Well, they just have 50 different cards that are 1 of 1s. So it's actually harder, in this set, it's harder to pull the 1 of 3 than it is the 1 of 1. Think about that. That's crazy. So the number of unique cards for that is 1. And there's 3 of them because the print run's 3. And that's it. So you can go down, screenshot this list, and if you're looking for parallels and you want to see how rare something is, that's the case there. Oh, and I forgot to mention this before. Based on what they put on their product spreadsheet, it looks like there's going to be about 2,852 base sets. Just calculating based on what they say you should find per case. If there's a certain amount of case hits or a certain amount of 1 of 1s, that kind of tells you how many cases there's going to be. And so these are the numbers that I think are for each, that I've put for each print run. Okay. Let's see. So finally, we can go to number of cards per team. So this is the checklist that you guys are all probably familiar with. You go and look and you see who has the most cards in here. Well, there's 295 Liverpool. But who actually has the most cards if we explode the print runs? Liverpool. So Manchester City, Manchester United, these are the teams with the most, and these are the teams with the least amount of cards. A lot of dual ones there. So if we go down here, the first team with the least amount of cards is Aston Villa. So that should tell you who has the highest frequency of cards based on print run in this set. And now into the simulation. So I simulate this case break 20 times. Here's one case break, and then I'll show you the summary for all 20 cases. So for one case, here is let's see, the lowest print run card I got was 5. It was Ben Johnson from West Ham United. It was a base parallel, cubic parallel, and that is what I got there. Let's see, I got some autographs here, so let's look at what kind of autos I got. Out of this, I should only have 8 or so. Yeah, I got 8. So here they are: Ashley Cole, Frank LeBeuf or LeBeau. I don't know how to pronounce all these names, so I'm not going to do it. Here you go. There's all the autographs I got. And the lowest print run auto was out of 50. So there we have it. And these aren't numbered. These print runs here, these 260. That was actually just a calculation I did to figure out when the not numbered autographs, how many print runs should there be? And that it should be around 260, give or take. And then here is what the breakdown of my case break simulation. Now keep in mind, this is totally random. What I do is I have the whole checklist. I ensure the print runs are all filled out, and then I do a random selection of cards based on the breakdown. So one autograph every other box, certain number of 8 parallels, one numbered parallel, whatever they were, and that's what this does. So by team, I got the most: Liverpool, Chelsea, Everton. This is what a totally random case break gives me. So if you want to use real data to support your purchases, that's how you do it. And the breakdown of cards that I got for this case break, I got obviously the most. I got base, 380 of them. I got 64 rookies. And then let's just look at some of these parallels here. Shockwave, I thought Shockwave was the case break, so I might have had an error in here, or case hit. That might be an error. Let me see what the ones were. There's some of the ones. Oh, maybe it was Star Factor was the one case hit. So I got case hit there, and I should have the other. Maybe Galactic. Looks like I got 2. That's probably wrong, but that's okay. Yeah, it's probably incorrect with these Galactics. I might have messed something up in the numbers, but it's more important to know what the team distribution was anyway. So here, out of 20 cases, here's the teams that I got the most of: Liverpool, Manchester United, Chelsea. So if you want to go off real world data, here's the teams that showed up the most in a 20 case break simulation. That's what I do, totally random, based on the numbers that they put out on their website. The lowest, Aston Villa and these other teams. There you go. So make your purchases, make them be informed. How many 1 of 1s did I get? Looks like I got 1, and it was from Chelsea. In 20 cases, I got 1 of 1. That's nuts. So 1 of 1s might actually be they are pretty rare, with only 50 in all the cases. That's one of the rarest I've seen so far of these that I've done. I did get some 10s though. Got West Ham, Arsenal. There's some 10s. Got some 100s, 15s. It's not in order because these aren't numbered correctly in the code, but out of 25, I got 12 of those. That's pretty good for Aston Villa. So in a 20 case break simulation, there you go. 1 of 1s are going to be actually really hard to get. Now, what did I get by team? Well, in 20 cases of cards that were opened, Chelsea gave me 35 autographs. The team that gave us the most base was Everton. The team that gave us the most inserts is Manchester City. And the team that gave us the most parallels was Manchester United. So 4 different teams for each of these categories. And here's what you get for the autographs. Here's what I got. All the other teams that you don't see on this list, I didn't get autographs for in 20 cases. There's base, inserts, there you go. Take your screenshot, use this to inform your purchases. And that is, let's just zoom back up to the top, give a nice little end cap here for the photo. That is Panini Revolution Soccer. Thanks for watching. Join me, subscribe, do whatever. It's fine. You just use these for your purchases. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.